Hello, 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 hello. How are you today? Oh my goodness, can you believe it? It is already Thursday, almost the end of the week. It is Thursday, May 14th, 2020, and you are watching Omega Live with JJ, Woman Without Borders. Indeed. Guys, it's a lot has been going on both locally and overseas. And oh my God, am I hot? It is hot, of course, but I am actually wearing long sleeves. Can you believe it? I'm wearing long sleeves in the house. I don't know. I just felt like putting on this top, right? And so it is a bit warm. You know, it's warm. It's already warm. It's always warm, but it's extra warm because I'm wearing long sleeves. Yeah. So if you see me mopping up, how have you been? How did you enjoy your day so far? Have you been enjoying your day? I know the Lord woke you up this morning, right? So you have a lot to be thankful for, if for nothing else than the fact that you are alive and well today, huh? Yeah, man, we are thankful. We are thankful. So, guys, I have a lot of information to give you today. Again, you know, when you come to watch Omega Live, you expect to get information. Yeah. And also to get my 2 cents on it. Yeah, absolutely. So without further ado, I am going to go straight into the program because I know you're here to get information. But guys, remember, you cannot keep the knowledge to yourself. You have to share it. Knowledge is nothing if it is not shared, right? So just click the link right away. Click the link and share the link with your contacts. Tell them to come and watch Omega Live and subscribe. All my subscribers, love you, love you, love you. Thank you for your subscription. Invite your friends and family to also subscribe. Let the subscription grow, yeah? If you're enjoying the program, thumbs up, man, thumbs up. Let me see the thumbs up. We know that you're enjoying it. And feel free to comment also. I won't bite. Comment, man. Absolutely. So, you know, my big data people, they love the big data. So I have to do the first thing I have to do when I start my program is to give you big data, yeah? And so let me give you some big data. So now Jamaica now has 509 confirmed cases of the coronavirus disease COVID-19. This announcement was made by the Minister of Health and Wellness, the Honorable Dr. Christopher Tufton, at his press briefing yesterday. So, you know, this man has gotten really computer savvy, you know, or he has a good team, I must say, right? Because he's on Instagram, he's on Zoom, he's everywhere digital these days, yeah? And so, you know, he gives his regular reports online. And so yesterday he was on Instagram TV and he was giving us a press briefing. Absolutely. And so he says we now have 509 positives because we have now tested 6,998 to date with 7,552 to date with 6,998 coming back negative, and we have 55 pending. Now, I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but let me continue with the big data. Yeah. So the 2 new cases we have, right, because I gave you 507 yesterday. So today, the 2 new cases we have the 48-year-old from St. Catherine and a 74-year-old from Kingston and St. Andrew. This, of course, brings the total number of males in Jamaica with the COVID-19 to 204. The number still stands for females at 305, and the number still stands for the Alorica cluster at 224, because one of these persons is a contact of the Alorica case, right? So the direct is 224. With the contact, it brings up that number. We have 41 imported still. That number has not increased. But guys, of course, I'm going to give my story for yesterday at the airport. You know, the 200 plus Jamaicans who came in. You're going to hear about that in a minute. Okay, but in the meantime, yes, so you know you're going to expect that number to go up with these persons coming in yesterday. But so far, it's still stuck at 41 for now. Yeah, we have 24 local transmissions still. Okay, we now have 27 that are under investigation because one is a contact of the Alorica, the other male is under investigation as to how he contracted it, all right? I'm sure it's from that cluster in Kingston and St. Andrew, which nobody want to talk about. All right. So that brings the number to 193 of the total contacts of confirmed cases. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. So that's my big number, right? I think I'll give you all that you need to know about the big data right there. Okay, guys, 55 pending. Now, I remember yesterday that I told you it was 55 pending yesterday, right? And today we have, again, 55 pending. What's going on? How long does it take to do a test? For us to get a test result? I thought it was 24 hours. What's up with these 55 pending, 55 pending, 55 pending? What's going on? What's going on at the labs? What's going on at the labs? We want to know what's going on at the labs, don't we? The other question we have with regard to that is that we have 3 machines, don't we? Yes, they made a big big thing about these machines that were donated to us. You remember, guys, I gave you the story. Go back into my library and look up those past episodes. I talked about, the fact that we got these machines that were donated to us, right? Even JPS got in the mix and donated also, yeah? Yeah, I guess they felt bad about those high utility bills that they were sending out. Anyways, we have these machines, and we are told that these machines, they can process up to 1,000 samples per day. Yeah, one machine does 300 every 6 hours. Another one does 300 every 8 hours. There are 24 hours in a day. 3 8 is 24. So at least, you understand, we can have at least approximately 1,000 samples per machine, and it's 3 machines. That's 3,000 samples per day. So tell me now, guys, somebody need to ask this question and we get answers for it. How is it that in a 48-hour period, we are only testing 281? Remember yesterday, the report I told you, we had a total of 194 samples that were done. And then yesterday, if you do the math, the total samples that were done was only 87. Guys, only 87 samples done in a 24-hour period when there are machines sitting there that can do thousands. What's going on here? Something is amiss, isn't it? And we don't hear anyone asking these questions. What's going on? Media, my fellow journalists, these are the questions I wanted to ask in your Q&A. What is going on with these samples? Why is it that in a 24-hour period, we only have 87 samples when we have machines capable of doing over 1,000? And then you're going to say to me that, of course, the curve is flattening. And then you're going to be in the number around the world as the countries who are actually coping and fighting COVID-19. Of course you are, because you're not really doing anything in terms of, testing, right? You don't know if anybody else have it out there. You don't know. So are you talking about, flattening the curve? You say you're flattening the curve when you have actually tested everybody and everybody came back negative, and then you still have your 200 plus empty beds, right? At least I think they're 300 now, because as I understand it, everyone has recovered. There is nobody in hospital who is moderately ill or critically ill, as we understand it. Yeah. So there are a few persons in the hospital. You have over 300 hospital beds that are designated COVID-19 beds, right? You said it. Yeah. The minister said it. Over 300 COVID-19 beds you have. So you have 300 plus empty beds there. And while I don't want to see anyone in the hospital, yes, but guess what? If you're not testing, you won't know who needs to be in the hospital or who is okay. 87 samples in a 24-hour period. Come on, that has got to be a joke. Yeah. Anyways. The minister, I'm continuing with the press briefing that the minister held yesterday. So he called on a patient D. That's what they labeled the woman as, patient D. She is the 100th person to recover from COVID-19, right? So, we're up to 113. Oh, I didn't tell you that. Yeah, we are up to 113. Yeah, that number hasn't changed. I thought 113. Yeah. So 13 new persons. We had 100 yesterday, and then we had 13 more, right, today. So it's 113 recoveries. So the 100th recovered patient was patient D. That's what they label her as, patient D. So they brought her on to talk about her experience. I don't know why the minister did that, So she came on And this patient, by the way, she is a contact of an Alorica employee, right? All right, so she was placed in isolation with 4 of her family members who also tested positive. So the whole household, guys, you remember I tell you now that these young people who are working at the call center, they are from multi-generational homes, right? So they're in homes with parents and grandparents and other extended family members, yeah? And so it is the entire family, guys. In a sense, numbers are incorrect, you understand? Because in one household, right, out of the 100 and how much is it? The 224 employees who tested positive. You understand? One household, this particular patient D, all 5 of them in the household had COVID-19. All of them. All right. I'm telling you, it's only guys. Do they understand that anything in the dark must come to light? Do they understand? It makes no sense to hide things. It doesn't make any sense, you know. I am telling you, we have a father, you see, who has a sense of humor, and he likes to expose, you know, because he likes when you're on the up and up. I'm telling you about my daddy, you know. You see, he likes when you're in right standing. So when you're not in right standing, he will expose you, and he will use whatever means to expose you. That's how he is. So you might as well just tell the truth and done. I'm telling you, you might as well just come clean. It doesn't make any sense to hide. It makes no sense for you to hide. So anyways, they were interviewing patient D, okay? And so she related her dissatisfaction with the accommodation that she received while in isolation. And then she told the minister, you know, what she did to recover, because the people are talking about treatment, you know, and they fail to understand, guys, that I mean, the minister was struggling when she finished speaking with her home remedies that she did, because you see, they don't understand. She said at the end of the interview that the only reason I'm still here because I need money to go home and I have no money to go home. So send me some money to go home. No one person. You need a team of persons. They say one hand can't clap, right? Because you don't have all the answers. That's why they say 2 heads are better than 1. So nobody expects any one person to have all the answers, right? No, you don't expect one. That's why you have teamwork made the dream work. Exactly. And so that is where my contention comes in, right? Quote unquote contention. I'm not really contending with anyone. You understand? It's an expression. Okay. The point is this, guys, right? That you hire people to think for you when you can't think for yourself, because you can't think of everything. Yeah. And so you're supposed to have a team of persons working with you. And my question is, as I am seeing all of these officials, right, and listening to them and watching what's happening, and I am seeing the inadequacies, you understand? I'm seeing the weaknesses in the system. I'm seeing the weaknesses on the teams, right? You need stronger teams. You can't employ people because of favoritism, because they're family members, no nepotism. You employ people because of their qualifications, and not only qualifications on paper, because you can have a bachelor's degree and still don't have any common sense. You see, but I tell you, you need people who are rounded, people who can look at a problem and recognize the problem, look at solutions for the problem, identify the right solution, and then implement it. Yeah, that's what you need. You see, so I just don't. It pauses my brain, guys, when I see all these mishaps and missteps that are taking place. Yeah, man. If it happened once, it can't happen twice. Once bitten, twice shy. You learn from our mistakes, right? We are supposed to learn from our mistakes. So here it is, something else just fall through the cracks, and which was just discovered inadvertently while they were doing the interview yesterday, right? Because the lady said at the end of the interview that the only reason she was still at the isolation facility because she had no money to go home. So wait a minute. When persons are through with being in quarantine or isolation, they don't take them home. Really and truly, they have to find their own way home. We say, light a candle, sing a song, and find your way home. No, I'm serious, guys. It's not a laughing matter. You know, you have to take bad things, make laugh. Okay? So when you hear me laugh, don't believe I'm laughing as in, it is funny. It is not. Okay? This is not a funny story at all, because the woman was in quarantine, and she was in quarantine for more than 2 weeks. And now it's time for her to leave isolation to go back home. And she had no fear to go home. She was waiting to go home. The minister had to tell her to wait and let them speak to her off the air, because I'm sure they were going to make an arrangement either for her to get money to go home or a vehicle to take her home. Yeah, that should have been a part of the planning. Huh? Really? Oh, the one that fall through the cracks like that. Come on, guys. You put someone in quarantine or in isolation. It is your responsibility to see to it that the person gets back home when they're through. Absolutely. And if you didn't know that, no, you know. Uh-huh. Wow. Okay, so that's my 2 cents on that, guys. As you know, when it comes to this, it's an ongoing story. So every day, something else comes up and I'll have something else to say about that. But let's continue, no? Uh-huh. All right, so a little sad news. It depends on who you speak to, though. It's sad and it's glad, because really and truly, death is really supposed to be a rejoicing, occasion, right? You're supposed to rejoice when somebody dies, don't it? Uh-huh. However, we do understand that when you have attachments to a person and they die, then it's going to be sad, yeah? You're going to miss them, absolutely. And so, retired Deputy Superintendent of Police Esmie Worrell of the Trelawny Police Division has died. Excuse me. Yes. According to the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the JCF, DSP Worrell, who was in the ICU at the Falmouth Hospital, died on Wednesday, May 13th, that is yesterday, at about 2 p.m. DSP Worrell was a security advisor at the Stonebrook Vista Neighborhood Watch and Citizens Association. She served the former Island Special Constabulary Force, the ISCF, for many years. Of course, Omega Live would like to extend our condolences and our prayers to the family and friends of DSP Worrell. May her soul rest in peace. Yeah. I heard she did a lot, guys. I heard she was a wonderful person who did a whole lot. And, she's going to be really missed by the police fraternity. Yeah? Yeah. Indeed. Yeah. Okay, guys. Continuing. Where am I at? Oh, yes. All right. So, continuing. So now, yesterday was a big day, right? I told you all about it, and I told you I would have had more to give you. You never know, guys, where the story is going to lead the day before the story comes, because no one knows except God, right? He's the only one who is omniscient. So I never know in advance what story I'm going to give to you until the time comes, right? Because you know how news is fluid, right? Absolutely. So we know that we were expecting some persons to come into the island. We were told that both flights were booked out, 96 apiece, right? One flight was coming from Fort Lauderdale, and the other flight was coming from New York City, right? And then we were also told that there was a third flight that was coming in from Toronto, who was bringing that defense attaché from Canada. Remember the Canadian High Commission? Absolutely. And of course, in my mind, I'm saying to myself, there is no way that, fuel being the cost that it is, there was no way a plane was going to be leaving from Canada to Jamaica with only the defense attaché aboard. But I said it to myself, and I kept it to myself, and I was watching the play, of course. So yes, I got the answer to my question yesterday. After the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, the Honorable Kamina Johnson-Smith, took to Twitter. Yeah. So let me tell you now why she took to Twitter now, guys. So let me give the story. According to the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, yesterday was hugely emotional. After returning from the airport yesterday, where she welcomed over 200 Jamaicans to the island, she took to social media and tweeted. But I think, before I tell you what she tweeted, I think I should actually give you the Jamaica Observer story in terms of what actually happened yesterday. Yeah. Context. Context is important, isn't it? Context is very, very important. So I know many of you, or some of you might not have heard based on what you've been doing, but some of you who have been in tune with the news might have heard that the media was locked out yesterday at the Norman Mann International Airport in Kingston, right? NMIA. Okay, so you also heard that the JIS, the Jamaica Information Service, which is government owned, was allowed in. Now, some persons were saying that the JIS is not the media. No, I would want to say to the Press Association of Jamaica, the PAJ, that they should go back and take back all those awards that they issued to the JIS as a media outlet, since they're not media, right? Nice. But anyways, it's not a laughing matter, no, it's a serious thing. So let me give you the story. All right, so this is how the Jamaica Observer gave the story yesterday that actually involved the persons arriving on the island. So they say, and this is their angle. This is their angle to the story. The Jamaican health authorities are bracing for a spike in the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases locally, following yesterday's arrival of more than 200 stranded Jamaicans from the United States and Canada at Norman Manley International Airport, okay, the NMIA in Kingston yesterday. The United States have the largest coronavirus outbreak globally with 1.37 million infections and more than 82,000 deaths. That is according to the data from the Johns Hopkins University, right? The Jamaicans arrived from Canada, Florida, and New York, which is the epicenter of the outbreak in the US, with more than 300,000 infections and close to 22,000 deaths. So you see, you're getting some raw data here too from international news, right? A government source who spoke to the Jamaica Observer yesterday, but did not want to be identified, said that the authorities are expecting a sharp increase in the number, though the arriving passengers will be quarantined at a St. Anne hotel for a minimum of 14 days. So again, they are bringing them to the Bahia Principe, right? So remember, the Bahia can hold 250 people, guys. But they have, I don't know how much they can hold, but they have 250 rooms that was allocated to the government, right? 250 rooms. So now we know they took a set of 122 or thereabouts approximately. And now here it is now that some of these persons, I'm going to say some, because if it's 250 rooms, it could not be all. So I'm going to say some were taken to the Bahia Principe, but actually, the minister without portfolio, Minister Matthew Samuda, I think Minister without portfolio, Minister of National Security, I think that is his portfolio, right? He said basically that 91, so it was not the full 96 that were booked to arrive, apparently arrived. As I'm hearing it now, the numbers differ. I'm understanding that one person didn't make one flight and a few other persons didn't make the other flight for whatever reason. I don't know, because we were told that both flights were booked with 96 each. Again, this is how the things work, right? We are not given full information until when things are. The article says they will be tested for COVID-19 and will be subjected to the daily temperature checks, right? Several Jamaica Defence Force members were among the group of 20 who arrived from Canada, okay? So some JDF soldiers who were stranded in Canada arrived on the flight, and I'm going to give you, like I said in a minute, the Honourable Minister's response in her tweet on Twitter. So several JDF members were among the group of 20 who arrived from Canada. The army men who were in the country for training under the Military Training and Cooperation Program, the MTCP, became stranded after the country's borders were closed on March 24th. Two passengers who spoke to the Observer briefly before the media were prevented from continuing coverage of the Jamaicans' arrival, repeatedly expressed that they were happy to be back home. One of the passengers had been away for 3 months. Journalists covering their arrival under the government's controlled re-entry program were yesterday escorted from the arrival hall of the NMIA by the police. The journalists, who were initially granted access to the area to capture the arrival of the first batch of Jamaicans from Florida, were not given an official reason for their removal. NMIA Chief Operations Officer Dale Davis announced forcefully that except for the government-run JIS, no other media were allowed in the area. He subsequently called on lawmen to see to the removal of media workers. Army men were then instructed to man the entrance of the hall. Okay, so yesterday, Foreign Affairs Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, who provided updates, including a photo of passengers on one of her social media pages, said the Jamaicans deserved privacy. Johnson-Smith blasted journalists in subsequent Twitter posts, suggesting that coverage of the passengers was insensitive and inhumane. And I will read that to you, as I said before, what was said on Twitter. Yeah. The Opposition People's National Party spokesman on information, Julian Robinson, in a release last night said the blocking of journalists who turned up at the Norman Mann International Airport to provide coverage of the arrival of Jamaicans who were stranded overseas is unacceptable and an unnecessary blot on Jamaica's excellent ranking on the Global Press Freedom Index. Remember what I told you guys about that Press Freedom Index? You see what I'm saying, though? I hope you guys are listening to me, because whenever I speak, I try to make sure that I give you information, right, that is informed. And you remember what I told you about the Press Freedom Index? So now that we see some real journalism going on, you're here. Are you here? What is happening? Okay, so this now is a blot on our excellent ranking on the Global Press Freedom Index. The nation relies on the press to keep our people informed. That is Mr. Julian Robinson speaking, right? The nation relies on the press to keep our people informed, and a matter of the arrival of Jamaicans who were stranded overseas on account of COVID-19 restrictions is of extremely high public interest. End quote. The JetBlue flight, which came in from Florida, landed at about 10 a.m. with 94 Jamaicans on board. And that, guys, is inaccurate, okay? And it's a problem I have with journalism and journalists, okay? When I come on here, you notice me, I make sure I give you the facts, guys. If I don't have the facts, I tell you, I'll get the facts and then I come back, because I'm not going to give you inaccurate information. Now, according to them, and it's two persons said this, so we know it has been verified, okay? A passenger who said that the flight came in at 9:30 a.m. It was scheduled to arrive at 10 a.m., but it was early. It came in at 9:30 a.m. And Minister Matthew Samuda concurred with that. He said that the flight came in at 9:30 a.m. You understand? And the passenger who's about the flight coming in at 10 a.m. is inaccurate. The flight did not come in at 10 a.m. It was expected to arrive at 10 a.m. So they're writing the news with an expected and projected time, not the actual time. The flight did not come in at 10 a.m. Okay, observer, the flight came in at 9:30 a.m. Please to ensure that you give accurate information to the public. Thank you very much. All right. The second JetBlue flight carrying more than 90 passengers from New York landed at 11:45 a.m. That is accurate. That is correct. All sources have concurred that that second flight came in at 11:45 a.m. The first flight that came in at 9:38, they processed them quickly and sent them off to the Grand Bahia Principe. The second flight, the processing took place at the airport because they did not want any commingling between the two groups of persons, right? So as a result of which, the second one had to stay Another came in at 11:45 a.m. Tache and the JDF soldiers. That flight came in at 1 p.m. Took to Twitter and she blasted. So she was like, wonderful to welcome Jamaicans returning home, but so many with different challenges. Is it too much to ask that they could have a little privacy? Furthermore, no one, including media, is ever allowed into the immigration and customs hall. Exclamation point. That her, they know that she's very strong because exclamation point, right? She is very strong in her speech. She said, Jamaica encourages freedom of the press. The world knows it. We know what she's talking about, right? That's why we are sixth in the world. There it is. But freedom of the press should not mean, oh, there was nothing to hide. Again, there is a reason we are sixth on the World Press Index. I'm not sure if you guys got that speech that I just said, because the feed is fluctuating, and it kind of fell just now. I'm wondering if I should reread that part. Anyways, I'm going to continue because it is in the paper, it's all over, it's on Twitter, it's everywhere. So anyways, according to Jamaica also welcomed home some 20 Jamaicans who were stranded in Toronto due to COVID-19. They arrived at the Norman Mann International Airport via Westjet. She said she did not announce it on Monday, as it was still only a possibility limited by capacity. However, she thanked the Canadian High Commissioner, Laurie Peters, and the JAM COVID and consular teams for making it. Notice she did not say that they were soldiers, right? She said 20 Jamaicans, her words. In addition, the minister said, with the more than 7,400 applications across 66 countries from Jamaicans stranded overseas, limited flight availability, and limited quarantine capacity, return will not be immediate upon application. She is advising the public to share answers to some frequently asked questions regarding the controlled re-entry process with your contacts who are looking to return to Jamaica. I want to touch on so many things, but I'm not even going to touch on all of them. You know? One of them that I want to touch on is, and I'm going to come back to that, because today I'm not even going to give you the Honorable Minister Hedmond Bartlett's spiel and perception about the reopening of the tourism industry, which this ties into, you will recognize and appreciate, you understand. So that is for tomorrow. If not tomorrow, I'll do that Sunday or Monday, but because that is not stale news. It will not be stale news because of the fact that it's not something going, it's something coming, right? But I am saying, guys, here's my thing. They want to open industry, and look at all of these persons who are overseas stranded trying to get back home. We got to, them say, pastor, Christian in Pitney first. That's what them say. The pastor, Christmas, is child first. Right? So you can't be thinking about opening up to tourists, to bring in tourists into the island without first taking care of your own. Yeah? So that's another story for another day. So back to this now with the press. So guys, all right, I listened, and I noticed that, first of all, the Press Association of Jamaica is kind of silent at the moment. I know something is to, mark my words, there is more coming. You're going to hear a lot more about this, okay? I'm sure persons are speaking. I'm sure they're putting their words together properly. I'm sure some legal team might be involved in terms of, advising and all that kind of stuff, right? Because we are the press after all, and you try to ensure that you do not want to be, charged for libel or slander or anything like that. So whatever you do and say, it has to be circumspect. You understand? Absolutely. And so you're going to hear more about this, a whole lot more. So far, only what I told you just now was published in the Jamaica Observer concerning what took place yesterday. However, it did not stop persons from going on Twitter and other social media platforms to voice, their displeasure. You understand? Or their pleasure, depending on who you spoke with. You understand? So some persons were happy. The minister said what she said and did what she did. Other persons, of course, were unhappy because, there's always going to be, whatever you do, guys, you know that somebody's going to agree and somebody's going to disagree. Everybody will not necessarily agree with you, right? Of course. And and this is one of the reasons, mainly, I do not do reporting. As a journalist, as a trained journalist, going to journalism school and learning, and having a degree in journalism, which I do have, and have been in journalism for a long time. I used to write for the Jamaica Herald newspaper back in the day, in the 90s, right? I used to write for the Jamaica Herald. So that's how long I've been in media. I am a journalist, even though I've been into other fields and do other things, including teaching and writing, etc., right? But what I hate about the profession of journalism is the invasiveness of it, because it can become invasive, because in bringing the news or trying to bring the news to the public, sometimes you have to go into some what appears to be insensitive situation. You understand? You have to ask questions that would appear to be insensitive, and you have to go into places that would appear to be insensitive. And it's not that you have lost your humanity and per se, right? But it's just that in order for you to get the full story to give to the public, and so as to give them, because remember, a journalist is supposed to give primary source. What is the condition of the river or the sea, right? And so as a result of that, the reporters have to go where no man dare go, right? There's a Star Trek moment here, yeah? And so, unfortunately, because of this, you find that it can be misinterpreted as if journalists are really insensitive. Mind you, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there are times when some journalists do cross the line, and this is where the balancing comes in. One has to know where to draw the line in terms of your professionalism, in terms of your humanity, in terms of what you're supposed to in reality, but in actuality and in terms of humanity and morality and integrity, you have to give a person some measure of privacy. You understand? Absolutely, whether they're a public figure or not. You understand? And in the case of this particular instance, no, here is my contention. I agree that persons are entitled to their privacy, and I agree you should not be invasive in terms of taking pictures of certain sensitive situation. However, when you're going to find a situation where the minister and other persons are going to post pictures, because I have seen it with my own two eyes, guys, pictures of passengers on the social media by these ministers, then it becomes a matter of hypocrisy for you to then therefore say that the media cannot go in when you yourself are taking pictures and posting it. This is the double standard I'm talking about, guys, that we are so full of, that we need to get rid of. Come on, man. That's what I'm talking about. You cannot say to the media, you can't come in here and take pictures and so on and so forth, when you yourself are doing the very same thing. You can't do that. That's a double standard. Yeah? And that is the reason for the uproar. Because if it was that the JIS were not allowed in and you yourself were not taking pictures and posting it, then we could have said, okay, fine. Yes. But you're saying the media is not allowed and the JIS is allowed. And FYI, no matter how you spin it and twist it and turn it, okay? A duck is still a duck as long as the duck quacks and he walks like a duck and he talks like a duck and he swims in the pond like a duck. He's a duck. Okay, you take him out the pond and you put him on 2 foot to walk on land, which dogs can do, by the way. Okay, and then you put him and put a crown, put some clothes on him and put a crown on his head and call him a king. He's still a duck. So you could say anything you want to say about the JIF. The JIF is still a media house. It is your controlled media house because you own the JIF. Okay, the government owns the JIF, and so whatever the JIF says, it has a spin. Obviously, it will have a spin because it is owned by the government. So they will publish the news from a government perspective. And that's understandable. There's no argument with that. But to say they're not media, then as far as I'm concerned, the Press Association of Jamaica should take back every award that they've ever issued to every journalist who has worked at the JIS. Okay? Because I know they get awards for good journalism. So how is it you're going to say they're not media? That makes no sense. Okay, you can't twist things to suit yourselves. Okay, it is what it is, and we just have to learn to deal with that. Accountability is very important that we talk about. Yeah, accountability. And so here it is now. You find yourself in a mess again, another misstep. Okay, because of what you do. I mean, guys, we got to try to limit our missteps here. You know, we're making too many missteps. You know. Yes, man, too many missteps. We got to try to do better, man. We have to try. And so now you find you're going to hear from the PAJ. You're going to hear from other journalists. You're going to hear from other persons about this. You understand? Because it cannot continue as is. Finally, I must say kudos to my my fellow journalists, basically, who are actually asking some hard questions, because I see, and I must give shout out to Dion Jackson Miller, because, you know, I did not, for the past couple of weeks, I've been listening to her, and I've been listening to her asking questions, and I've been listening to her program Beyond the Headlines. Those are the only programs I listen for where she's concerned, to be honest with you. But I used to see her tweeting on Twitter. And of course, I have met her, somebody who I have met. So it's not as if I don't know her. But the point is that I never really follow her up in terms of her journalism career and, her slant and in terms of how she, she approaches the news. But these past couple of weeks, listening to her, I'm really impressed because she seems to be one of the few journalists out there where in actuality, who's asking the hard questions, who's asking probing questions. You have to ask probing questions, but you need answers. It's only when you ask questions that you're going to get answers, yeah? And so kudos to you, Mrs. Jackson Miller. Keep up the good work. Absolutely, absolutely. And so now, guys, again, my other further journalists who are being too invasive, understand that there's a line to draw. You can't be too invasive. You got to give persons their space. On personal growth and development, that you have to know how to balance the thing, man. Yeah, man. You have to know how to balance the thing. Okay? You got to know what to do, when to do it, how to do it. It's called wisdom, applied knowledge, right? You got to. When Solomon asked for wisdom, what did God give him? Knowledge and understanding, because you need both to apply wisdom, right? Okay, and so that's what you got to do in order to not have these kind of recurrence in the future. We have to have a change, guys, and we're seeing where COVID-19 is really causing a lot of changes in this place. That's my 2 cents on that story. Continuing with the news, guys. So, the Kingston West Police have charged 3 men in connection with the Friday, April 17th murder of 30-year-old Mamaria Raymond, otherwise called Dada, and 21-year-old Clifton Grant, otherwise called Little Man, both of Torrington Park, Kingston 5. Reports are at about 2:30 a.m., lawmen were called to the area after residents heard explosions. On arrival of the officers to the scene, a house was seen ablaze. Members of the Jamaica Fire Brigade were summoned and the fire was extinguished. The bodies of Raymond and Grant were later found in the house. The scene was processed and they were moved to the morgue. The accused men were subsequently arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder, arson, illegal possession of firearm, and illegal possession of ammunition after they were positively identified on an identification parade. All of these men are from the Torrington Park area in Kingston 5. Okay. And this is a heartbreaking one, guys. I said I was going to give you any heartbreaking stories, but boy, I tell you, the way the news is going, and I have to give you the news, so I have to give you this one. A Manchester repeated sexual abuse of her 11-year-old daughter has been charged by the police. The woman, who now faces a fine of up to 500,000 Jamaican dollars and prison time of up to 6 months, was charged for the offense of failing to report child in need of care and protection. Well, the JCF said for care and protection following an investigation by the Mandeville police. Reports are that the accused, who is said to be the complainant's stepbrother, has sexual intercourse. Did you hear what I said, guys? Has sexual intercourse with her on several occasions, along with several other sexual activities. The complainant allegedly reported some to her mother, who failed to make a report to the police. Head of the Center for the Investigation of Sexual Offences, SISOCA, to appeal to persons who may have information they can assist in the investigation to contact them at 876-962-2832. Again, the number is 876-962-2832. You can also call Crime Stop at 311 or the police emergency at 119, or of course you can always contact your nearest police station. A court date is being finalized. Guys, this is very near and dear to me, you understand, and I won't even go into it, to be honest with you. But whenever I read stories wherein mothers a mother who carries a child for 9 months turn a blind eye to her child being sexually abused. Yeah, it is so sad. It is just too sad. Yeah, too sad. Yeah, because there's just no way an 11-year-old child is being sexually abused by her stepbrother, right? And she comes to you and she said, Mommy, John is molesting me. Mom, John is touching me. Mom, John is putting his penis in me. Mom, whatever terminology this child chooses to use at that age based on her cognition. You understand? You have to take it seriously, even if nothing mention of it. I may or may not tell you my personal experience, but I've been there and done that. So I know exactly what this little girl is going through and has gone through. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so it is not good for a parent to allow a child to go through this, because no matter how much therapy and no matter how much you go through as an adult, it always stays with you. This always stays with you. And I'm telling you, and I posit to you, that many, many, many relationships that do not work are as a result of women who go through similar situations. But many of them, they internalize it, right? They bottle it up inside and they do nothing about it. So they get no kind of healing, right? And can I tell you something? Healing comes when you're able to express. So for me, for example, writing is cathartic. So I write a lot and I write out all my experiences, whatever experience I write it out. So it helps me. Healing it's cathartic. Writing is cathartic. It helps the healing process. When you have a personal relationship with God, the Holy Spirit, Ruach HaKodesh, for the Jews, my Jewish friends, right? Or spirit of knowledge, same person, right? When you have that relationship and he's a comforter, so he heals and he comforts you and helps you to navigate, right, these experiences. But without having this kind of spiritual connection, you need to have at least a psychiatrist, right, who can help you to navigate your emotions when you go through these kinds of experiences. And for an 11-year-old child at this point to go through this, right? To be honest with you, our penal system, it really needs revamping. It needs revamping. It really needs an overhauling, to be honest with you, because seriously, I mean, while we know that vengeance is mine, I will repay the Lord, we have a justice system that has been put in place that is basically based on spiritual laws. It was created, right, and implemented based on spiritual laws. Yeah, because no sin they say goes unpunished, right? No sin goes unpunished. So everything that you do, every action or reaction, there's a consequence to everything that you do, right? Mm-hmm. So now 6 months, 6 months for a crime like this, just doesn't seem fair, does it? That's why the only just God is God Almighty. The only just judge is God Almighty. Yeah, because He's the only one who can give you the right amount of punishment for the crime. Yeah, we are in that to equate the crime, the severity of the crime, with the actual punishment for the crime. How do you actually quantify it? How do you quantify it? How do you qualify it? How do you determine exactly how much years to give for a particular crime? It's hard for you to quantify and to qualify, right? Mm-hmm. That is why God is the one who actually is supposed to really judge, right? Because when He judges, He's a just judge, and when He judges well. You understand? But this is an heinous crime, guys. I mean, this which has happened, and it is very common. It's very common because many of our women, you understand, because of their socioeconomic status in life, because of their hardship that they're going through, they turn blind eyes not only to the stepbrothers but to the stepfathers too. You understand? The men and the children and the cousins, you understand, they turn a blind eye because they don't want to say anything, because they don't want to upset the apple cart because of the 2 shilling. I'm saying, mothers, come on, if to live in a shelter, it is better than you turning a blind eye. You understand, your child is going through. Seriously? So you feel comfortable eating, you actually eat that food and swallow that food, it goes onto your throat, knowing that your child is being abused by your husband or your stepchild? Really? Come on. Personal growth and development. We have to grow. We have to all get there. We are at different levels, I understand, but we have to get there. Yeah? This is not right, women. Ladies, women, this is not right. We cannot keep doing this. We can't keep turning a blind eye to our children. You bore that pain for 9 months. It was not easy. I know. I'm a mother. I know it was not easy bearing that pain for 9 months. How on earth, after you went through that, are you going to now allow a man or a boy to molest your child? Come on. Do better than that. Please, I implore you. Yeah, guys, I know. It's been a bit every 2 days, right? Yeah, a bit heavy. So let me lighten the mood. I'm gonna give you a light story. After all that heaviness, I gotta give you this one light story. This guy, Karen King. Oh my God, Karen King. I gotta give you this one. So I first saw it on the Prime Minister's Twitter account, and then I saw it elsewhere. So I'm gonna give it to you from the Prime Minister's perspective, anyway, and then I will tell you a little bit more. So a Westmoreland school principal is making a difference in the lives of constituents in his school district. Karen King, principal of the Little Bay Primary and Infant School in Westmoreland, has found a unique way to ensure his students living in hard-to-reach rural areas with little or no internet access get their lessons, full stop, sorry. According to Prime Minister and the Honorable Andrew Holness, as a young man in leadership in education, this is the kind of commitment and dedication that will make a world of difference in the lives of students. The Prime Minister said he could meet Mr. King in person, but was so moved that he arranged to speak with him by a video call. Karen King is positively impacting the lives of his students, the Prime Minister said. And when I learned of his truly admirable and praiseworthy undertaking to bring education to the students of the Little Bay Primary and Infant School, I had to send personal commendation and make my own contribution to its efforts, the Prime Minister said. So this young man, Karen King, apparently what he has been doing, guys, because he knows these students are in the remote areas, right, and they don't have access to the internet and don't have access to the reading material. So what they have been doing, they have been working with the Minister of Education. Regional 4 office in Montego Bay, and so they get the material, guys, right, and they print the materials. Materials are printed and they put it on Knutsford Express and send it to Westmoreland, or sometimes he himself come to Montego Bay for the materials himself and go back with them to Westmoreland. And then what they do now, they staple the materials when they print them, and they staple them together, and then he on his motorcycle, guys, he rides right around the community and go house to house and hand out the materials to the parents for the children. Can you believe this, guys? This man, that's what he does, the principal. Every single student in this community, you understand? They go through the register, so they know exactly who the students are, and they go through the register, and every single household, every student in these remote areas, right, in his district, every one of them get the material that he and his staff put together. You understand? For the students. Isn't that wonderful, guys? Isn't that a great way to actually end the program? Absolutely. And I'm going to give you one little bit more news before I end the program, just to let for my St. Mary my St. Mary persons who are in quarantine, especially those persons who are on medication. The National Health Fund, the NHF, they are filling prescriptions tomorrow, right? Oh, today, not tomorrow. Today, they're filling prescriptions today up until 3 p.m. So they started at 10 a.m. and they will continue until 3 p.m. today. So for persons who need their prescriptions filled in Enfield, if you're in Enfield and you need your prescription filled, they are filling prescriptions today up until 3 p.m. And again, they will be back in Enfield next week, Wednesday, right? The 20th. Okay, to fill prescriptions at 3 p.m. So those persons in Enfield, prescription will be filled today and next week, Wednesday, between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Persons in St. Mary quarantine, right? And of course, I just see the lot happening. So I've been giving you everything. There's more to more. You guys are continuing to practice your infection control measures, right? And you're not going out without your mask, guys. Remember to go out. I still see people going out without their mask. Remember to put your mask on. You got to protect your portal of entry and your portal of exit. Okay, all right. And remember to practice infection control measures by washing your hands and physical distancing. Okay, to keep you're 6 feet apart when you are outside. Okay, guys, remember it is important for your own good because you see what's happening. Okay, and you don't know because many persons, as you have heard, 80% of the persons who contract COVID-19 guys are asymptomatic. Most persons do not show symptoms of the disease. You understand? And so remember, if you're asymptomatic and you're not showing symptoms, you can still pass it on to other persons, right? During the stage, you can, okay? And so that's why it's important, guys, for you to ensure that you practice these health protocols, okay? Guys, also remember, help each other. Be your brother keeper. Be your brother's keeper, right? Love on each other. Show love and compassion for each other at this time, okay, of COVID-19 pandemic. It's something you're supposed to do all the time, but especially at this time. Remember those persons, guys, who are 65 and over and 70 and over, and help them, right? Help them to that they too will be able. Hi, hello, hi, dear, hello, hi. Yes, comment, man. I like when you comment on the program. Very good. When you come on, guys, say hi. Thank you for joining me. You came to the end of the program, but it's good that you're still here. I appreciate it. You can watch the replay to hear everything that I said, and remember to share the link, okay, with your friends. Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. So yes, guys, as I was saying, absolutely, yeah, we need to be our brother's keeper and show love and compassion to each other. And those persons who are 70 and over and 65 and over, go to them, right, and ask them, can I help you? Can I do something for you? You can go and go to get their prescription filled for them, get food for them, go to the supermarket on their behalf, whatever, each one help one, guys. That's the time that we are in right now, right? We have to help each other. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. And so, like I said, I've come to the end of the program. I do hope you enjoyed it. And I am looking forward to another episode tomorrow. Remember to share the link. Okay. Subscribe. Okay. And okay, remember, I'm also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Omega News JA. Okay. So I'm inviting you to go over there and to like, share, and comment also. Okay. If it is that you'd like to be on the program, send me a DM in Facebook. And if you have a topic you'd like me to speak on, just send me a DM in Facebook. I'm on it also. Okay. Remember, guys, I don't know everything. I'm a student of knowledge just like you. But whatever I know, I share with you. Okay. And you're supposed to share also. So share the link. Share the link with your friends and family. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being with me today. I really enjoyed sharing with you, and I hope you enjoyed, watching and learning. And until I see you again tomorrow, God willing, I say stay blessed and be a blessing. Bye for now. Love you.